And welcome in everybody, it's Frogman here, King Pappy the Second, bringing you some more Around Us 2 content. We're going to be taking a look at, today, the Basilisk Water Elemental type. Yeah, Basilisk Water type Elemental boss. Sorry, I had to double check that. So, practice guide. Okay, so this is the team I have set up, so as always, it's going to look different for a lot of us here. But before we get into it, like, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Any comments down below of how you feel about the team, if you think there's maybe a better setup for this. I'd love to hear your feedback. But as for me, this is what I have working for me. I spent a lot of time, mind you, trying to, get a good grasp on this boss. But this is the best that I could do and think of. But I'll explain some other, team layouts that could possibly work for this. So, that being said, let's hit it. Okay, so let's go to the battle. So I used both a physical type team for the first one and magic for the next. Doesn't matter which order you do it in, by the way. Okay, so here we have the Basilisk boss, the one that was from Blade when she was debuted, except this is a water type. Okay, so first things first, conditional skill. So this skill is activated when any of the player characters is under a DOT effect. This skill activates a maximum of 1 time per team in battle. So applies a 200% vulnerability to parts without a barrier for 4 turns. If the part has a barrier, apply a 50% barrier to that part for 4 turns instead. Okay, so I still kind of don't really know what this means exactly when it says apply a 50% barrier to that part for 4 turns instead. You know, if the part has a barrier. I was like reading that, I'm like, now I'm not sure if this is understandable to anybody else out there watching this VOD, but for me, I don't know, it was a little bit difficult for me to kind of figure out. However, how I went with it was I activated this skill first because I really didn't understand what this meant. Now, if we do look at the weaknesses now, right off the bat, you see that in the front is 100% weakness, and then in the back, all of them are at 200%. So you want to attack the back ends actually throughout the entire matches if you can. Now, I use Zenith for this, so my team layout was Libertep for crit rates and attack percentage, Lathos Homunculus, attack percentage, Deanna's for property damage increase, Zenith for the vulnerability, and concentrated fire, along with Nebris. Now, Nebris I found did the most damage out of everybody here. The reason why I did not pick Tyr was because now Tyr is a very busted unit. However, the thing with her is she does not have another costume that you can rotate in. So that's why I did not use her, because you would basically be waiting every single other turn to activate her skill. And I didn't really see a reason for it. And I did test it out, mind you, as well. My Tyr is actually built. But I found out that using Nebris' other, costume sets did actually do a lot better with this. But yeah. So if we look at this, right off the bat, this mofo attacks us, applies rot to us. So in turn, this would activate the conditional skill, right? Now you can evade it because this is a set range, meaning like if you move them back, it'll attack just an empty space. That's what that means. And it also has another attack where it does the same thing, but except it's on this side of the field, right? Now, only one of your units has to be attacked and gets applied rot for this to work, for this conditional skill to work. So you don't have to put everybody to get hit by it. Just put somebody that can withstand it. But yeah, so I'm gonna activate it first, okay? Because its next turn would activate a barrier right after that, which you don't want because it negates damage, correct? So I'm going to activate Liberta's Dark Saintess ability first. I am going to save Lathos Homunculus for later down the line, since this actually plays a huge role for further in. Because since it only activates for 2 turns, mind you, and then you would have to wait like 5, turns to activate this again. Because this happens a lot sooner, right? So you won't be able to get this in, you know, again. This will last, yes, but this one you'll miss out on if you activate this first. So you can just attack, you know, if you simply want to attack, just using it. Activate Deanna's, though, however, first. Zenith, you can attack either one. It doesn't matter which side. Just attack the back, okay? And then Nebris. Okay, so for Nebris, now I'm going to activate her Bikini one first because it increases her stat reinforcements. And if you read it, this is what it does. I'm doing it for the crit damage and property damage, but it only lasts for like, you know, this turn. It's not much, but it's the increase of attack by 50% that I want. So that's why I'm activating it first. The Gatekeeper Nebris skill, however, so if you pay attention to what it says, so it applies an augmentation effect to yourself for 6 turns, okay? It increases your damage dealt by 100%. Okay, so for this next one right here, this is very important. If you already have an augmentation effect, increases your crit damage by 200% for 6 turns instead. Okay? Okay, so meaning you would have to activate this first if you don't have, like, for example, Terese on the field. Because normally how I would use it, this setup would be like, you know, I would use Terese's Bikini one because she applies an augmentation. So right off the bat, I would actually automatically get this if I were to use this now. But since I do not have her on the field, this won't activate. So I would have to activate this first. However, the thing with this is, since I can't technically use this right now, because, like, this skill by then, you won't be able to get that extra 200% increase for crit damage. So it would be too late by then. So that's why I would activate this first. Just, you know, to get this attack increase. Does that make sense? You'll see what I mean by this. So if we look at my Nebris' stats right now. So crit damage right now is 774%, right? And her attack is 2200. That's my build, okay? It could be better, I know, but my RNG was not that lucky with her other costumes. So all in all, this is how we would set this up first, right? And there we go. Just remember to have at least one of your costumes get hit by this attack, okay? I hope this video helps out a lot of new players or any current players as well. Get an idea for, like, how to, you know, be prepared for the boss, which is why I'm making this video guide. I hope these do help you guys out a bunch. Okay, so next, since Zenith is under DOT, this will activate next. Even though this says next, this will activate next, okay? So you can activate, you know, Libertas Zones if you like to get the healing in. Really doesn't matter. Activate Zeniths again. Okay, so now we want to... Actually, no, wait. Wait until it does its thing with this, and then activate it next. So you can just attack if you'd like to. Just attack. Activate Nebris's just for now, you know, the damage dealt. You know, applying the augmentation for later on. You can do that next now. Okay? Okay, there it is. Now he activated its conditional skill. Now you can use Lathel's ability. So activate Libertas Dark Saintus. Right? Bring Lathel up here now. And put Zenith in the middle. Deanna will just regularly attack. And now you can use Office Nebris' attack. Okay? And if you want to, you can make sure and look at all her buffs being activated just to make sure. And you see how the crit damage now increases, right? Because, sorry, give me a moment. There we go. Okay, so there you go. You can attack now. Just if you look really quickly, you see her attack went up by 8,200 now. It's at. There you go. Now my Nebris could still be built a little bit more, but If you do have a very well built Tenebris, then this fight should be no issue for you at all. Okay. Now this is a very you can rock this with another build I found out as well. So it activated this barrier for all of its parts, correct? So the damage is going to be negated. Now, what you can do with this is, if you really wanted to use Rafina, and if you have, I believe it's the Steel Engine Rafina ability skill, it actually disables barriers. So you can actually use her skill in this case to remove these. So then you could do, it won't negate the damage then. However, when I did it, at least for me, I didn't really see that much of a difference with damage. I still found my team here to do more damage than that. But I mean, my Rafina technically needs a little bit more work for her. But if you want to disable these barriers, you can use that skill of hers if you'd like. And if you have her other costumes that also reduce defense by 50% and applies vulnerability, you can use her other costumes along with it. Okay? So we're just going to do this how I normally would do this. So apply, Zenith there. And then you can just attack normally however you'd like to in this case. And I'll activate Bikini Nebris' skill again. But yeah, it seems like attacking the back was more effective than attacking in the front. Okay. Now, this one, you can get a little bit extra damage in because whenever it attacks you, right, and you survive the initial attack, it resets your skills, basically. So, now, in this case, it's not really going to matter since I'm going to be using, a lot of their skills next. Like Homunculus Lathel, his is going to be activated next. Liberta, I can use Liberta and just show you, for example, with this one. In case you guys don't know what I'm talking about exactly with this, just to show you. Put Zenith here, put Deanna in the middle, put Nebris here, right? And yeah, this is all you really have to do. Okay. Actually, I'm not going to activate this one. I'm going to save the SP points for my second team lineup. But yeah, this is what you would do. So Liberta and Deanna's skill again is going to just be automatically refreshed after getting hit. Now remember, use armor or gear for the helmet and the torso that provides defense, okay? Because this boss on higher difficulties, if you don't have defense armor for it, you'll die. You'll die instantly, especially with this attack. Okay, you see how it reset itself? So that's what that meant. So now you can just do about what you want. Here's Homunculus Lathel again. And then this is how it is. Oh yeah, let me put back Deanna here again. Property damage increase. There it is. So that's the first, I guess you can say, part of how I did this. Now everybody's is going to be differently. It's going to be different, obviously. So just so you guys know that. Because, different gear builds and stuff. Okay, so basically like the same way of doing this. So going to activate Helena. Terese. Okay, so for Terese's case, I'm going to activate her augmentation because it's 8 turns. Her Medical Club Terese is 4 turns, so that'll, be used up very soon. Even before you get to this point. So that's why I would activate, if you do have her unlocked, that is, her augmentation first. Rafithia, the reason why I chose Rafithia over Sonya was because Rafithia provides property damage, and I did find property damage, and I did test it out too, mind you. But like I said, different builds, different results. But for me, she has property damage increase, right? It might not be as much as Deanna's, but it's still something. And I'll get to the next part in explaining Rafithia as well. So I'm going to activate the crit damage since it increases for 6 turns instead. So that actually is going to last until we get here. I'm going to use Venica and Dalvi for this fight. Venica provides wind vulnerability. Okay. So instead of using this first, because this will be used up by the time I get here when it activates its skill again, I'm going to use this right before it does, though, however, since it only is for 4 turns. It reduces the magic resistance by 50%. So I'm going to use her Belly Dancer skill first. Okay, because this will activate by the time we get to its conditional skill activation. And then I'll activate the fox form of the lovely Dalvi. Okay, I'll save this for when we get to the conditional skill. And that's how I would do it. So let's do it. And I'll have the volume on just because I'm talking. I guess I can put the volume on a little bit. Have some, you know, audio to the video, I guess. Okay, now we just wait for it to do its thing. You can just activate this to get more SP points if you like, or a barrier. Okay, now you can activate Medical Club to rest a skill. Okay? Okay, so this is what I wanted to explain. Okay, so if you're using Raphethia for this, if you have a very well-built Raphethia at, like, let's say +5, the property damage increase is going to be 100%, if I'm not mistaken by that. I believe it is 100% at +5. If you have Poolside Raphethia, right, and you have her at +5, the thing is, her +5 form of this actually isn't 100%. For property damage for light, however, it is. I think it's beyond 100% if I'm not mistaken, but you're actually getting more of a benefit if you use Bridal Raphethia, because since it doesn't use up too much SP points, and the cooldown reduction is literally 1 turn, so you can activate this every single turn, right, if you leveled up her skill tree, you're getting a lot more out of this one. Now, since for me, I don't have a very well-built Raphethia's Bridal one, it's 40%, this is 40%, for a Poolside one as well at +3, so I'm just going to use a Bridal one since it doesn't cost as much SP points. That's for me now. As for anybody else, you know, and you have a +5, I would highly just recommend using a Bridal one instead. Okay? That's what I wanted to explain. Okay, so now I'm going to use Vanica's magic resistance reduction here for the boss, and then I'm going to activate Dalvi's bikini skill. Oh, wait a minute. Did it activate it yet? Oh, what? My bad. It didn't. My fault. Wasn't paying attention. Just regularly attack first. Just do this first. Okay? That was my bad. Activate it next. Okay, now we can do it again. You just, you know, can put her there just to attack. You can activate this. Now you can activate this. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Man, I am not thinking today. My bad. You needed to activate this first. Apologies. I'm sorry. Apologies. Oh my goodness, it's been a long day. I'm sorry. There we go. Activates its conditional skill. So if you look at it, you can see that the magic resistance reduction is there, along with vulnerability, right? Then you just do your thing here with this. There we go, and then there we go. So now you have some bleed damage on it as well with Dalvi's skill. That's always nice. Okay, so it's going to do its thing over here now. Right? You just kind of just, you know... Just kind of get to the end at this point, really. But that's really about it, in fact. So we'll just see it through to the end now. But yeah, Tyr would be excellent. It's just that she does not have, you know, another costume to really, like, you know, make up for follow-up attacks. I would still say Nebris is by far the best for this. Okay, so you just do this again. And you can legit just put them in the middle like this. It doesn't matter. Because the next attack will, like, you know... Now let me put her here instead. There we go. And we'll put Dalvi. Since Dalvi's, you know, bikini skill activates next here. It doesn't really matter to put her in the middle. Venica you can. Yeah, that, there you go. Then just put Venica over here again, since you reactivated the skill. And then just do this. And that should be it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know that I didn't beat this boss, but like I said, this is a practice guide for anybody that wants to get a feel for the Basilisk boss. And, you know, get a little bit of a feel for it. Okay? Hope it helped out new players as well with it, and any current players too. So, I'll catch you all in the next. Stay safe, stay classy, and until then, guys, take care. And also, I'll have my video up for the guide for the Guild Raid boss that's currently going on, okay? So, until then, take care, guys.